So how did I make $52 trading Apple call options? So on May 1st at 14:54. So looking at May 1st, 14:54. It's not this candle, but for this candle right here. So basically what I did was I played call options on Apple as soon as it landed on the on the 9-day moving average, waited for a bounce off the 9-day moving average. Once I saw that the position was up 3%, I sold out the position, securing a gain of $52, just trading a couple of Microsoft, just trading a couple of Apple call options. So basically what the deal is here is that basically there's going to be days where you're going to make big trades, you're going to make big trades, you're going to make small trades. Sometimes you'll make big gainers that day, sometimes you'll make small gainers that day. And generally you want to know how to manage your risk tolerance level. And what I mean by that is you're trying to aim for, you're trying to stay consistently trading. You know where to cut your losses at, you know where to take your gains at. And for me personally, what I try to do is, step one, I try to aim for a 5 or 10% target. So right here on the screen, where it says 3.71%, right? Basically, I'll try to pay attention to that as soon as it says 5% or 10%, right? And basically, I'll go according to my risk tolerance level according to that day. So if I'm feeling confident for aiming for a 10% gainer for that day, I'll aim for a 10% gainer. If I feel confident aiming for a 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. gainer, I'll go for those type of gains. But if I'm feeling like, okay, that's not possible, I feel like like it's not possible, I'll just try to go for the regular 5 or 10% gain for that day, move on to the next trade, and move on to the next trade. I feel like what most small traders mess up with, and this was a me too thing. Like basically I would have trouble figuring out when to sell out the position, and sometimes I wouldn't know, and sometimes I would just think that, okay, it's probably gonna keep, that stock that I'm trading is gonna keep going up, and I do feel like it's just gonna keep going up and up and up from here. But that's not the case. That's never the case. Usually, stocks can go either way. It can totally go your way, or it can totally go opposite of your way. So basically try to have your risk tolerance level set in mind. And basically what I started doing, that way I wouldn't miss out on my gainers, right? Basically what I started doing is paying attention to the percentage that my position was up by. So if my position was up 3.71% for the day, and that day was looking a little shaky, and I was not looking, not feeling really confident, okay, take the gain of 3.71%, move on to the next trade for tomorrow or for later if you're feeling confident, and try to aim for probably the same percentage target, or try to aim for a higher percentage target. I feel like what most people try to do is they try to aim for ridiculous percentage gainers, whether it be 40, 50, 100% gainers. Usually that's not going to be the case every day. I feel like that's also, like, if you're trying to aim for those type of situations, you're basically asking to lose money. What I mean by that is because if you want to make those type of gains, you actually have to play short-term options. So that has to be like options that are expiring in that same week, expiring next week. Usually what you're trying to do is that you're trying to play, if you're trying to play options and trying to make money playing options, you're supposed to Play it safe, play it, play it safe basically, and just know where to cut your losses. For me, basically, whenever I feel like a particular trade is going down, it's not going my way, I'll try to aim for cutting my losses once I see my percentage being down 10%. So if my position is down 10%, okay, take the loss, move on to the next trade. And basically, instead of aiming for a whatever your risk tolerance level is, right? So instead of aiming for a 10% target, I'll try to aim for a 20% target now next time. So that way I can recoup that previous loss that I took of 10%. And basically, try to have your game plan set in mind. That way you know where to cut your losses, and that way you can know where to take your wins. Because if you just wait and see what happens, and you're just you're seeing your screen change from 10% and then to 20%, and then you're just being cocky at that point, because you're feeling that certain stock could go up even more and more and more. Will that always be the case? You could be lucky for one day for that to happen. I've had my luck, happen at times when I'm feeling like cocky. But what I'll do is I'll try to cut the winners early, and I'll try to let some winners ride out as well. But that way I'm not risking of leaving all the money on the table. That way, in case the position does all of a sudden go down, I secured some money and I let a little bit of money off the table, go to the trash, because I was wrong about the prediction of that particular stock going up and up even more. Basically, step one, try to manage your risk tolerance levels. Try to aim for your percentage targets that you're capable of reaching for that day or week or month or whatever, however you're trading. And then step two is to basically manage your risk tolerance level of when to cut your losses. So for me personally, whenever I'm feeling that the trade is not going my way, I'll try to cut my losses once the position is down 10%. And then if I'm feeling really confident, if the position is down 10%, I'll stay in a little bit. But if I notice that there's a change in the trend of that stock, or there's a particular indicator that's blinking red and basically letting me know that, okay, this particular stock is not looking so good, you might want to exit out here. Okay, move on to the next trade, take the loss there, and just basically move on to the next trade. That's all it is to trading options. I feel like managing your risk tolerance level, knowing your ins and outs of when you're trading, and just basically get ready to take some losses as well. Nobody's I guess you could say like 100% good at trading. Nobody is. So that's pretty much it. That's basically how I made $52 trading Apple call options. I just used the moving averages, used my risk tolerance level according to my game plan, and that's pretty much it. As always, this is not financial advice. As always, take care and bye.